There are certain elements in a track that just gives that drive and groove, right? You probably know what I'm talking about. If you just mute it, the whole track is basically sounding like a different track, right? And in this week's video, I want to show you a little bit of a patch, a little bit of a mindset, and how you can create what I call groove elements. I also saw those terms in sample libraries. Basically, that's where I got inspired to call it groove element. But if you don't know what I'm talking about, I'll show you exactly what I mean in this week's video. And yeah, if you want to create those groove elements to add drive, to add groove to your tracks, I think this video will be helpful to you, and hopefully will be inspiring to you, because all what we are going to use is Ableton Live stock plugins and yeah, a Max for Live device, MD Snake. You probably know that. If you're new on this channel, welcome. So hopefully you can replicate the concepts to create your very own drive and groove elements. If your track sometimes lacks in something, it's probably what I call this groove element. It can be percussion, it can be, I don't know, bassline maybe, it can be basically anything. But yeah, let's just dive in. Before we start, I quickly want to mention my soft but snappy Rominimal Ableton Live kick template, which is a Max for Live device based kick template that you can customize to your needs whenever you need to adjust the kick, whenever you find that the kick doesn't fit into the track anymore. Maybe you want to shorten it a little bit, pitch it up, pitch it down, add a little bit of a tick on top of that. You can do that, and it's totally for free. Go and grab it, go and download it if you want that. And now let's jump over to this week's video and let's make some groove elements together. Have some fun, hopefully get inspired. So yeah, let's jump over to Ableton. Yeah, for this week's video, I want to talk a little bit about what I call groove elements. It's kind of a bass line, but also plays in the middle. I don't know how to call it. I just call it groove elements, you know, because if I check out some sample libraries, sometimes there is a section called groove elements, and I got inspired by that, right? So let's just quickly play an example. Stuff like these, right? Yeah, and they should serve to give the track groove, right? Drive and groove. That's a new word. Groove. It's a combination of drive and groove. Okay, let's add that groove. Let's quickly play that in solo so that you get the idea what I'm talking about. And then we create that within Ableton Live with some stock plugins, basically just effects and Wavetable, and the Max for Live device, which is for free, MD Snake. You probably have seen me using this if you follow me for some time. If you're new on this channel, welcome. And yeah, I hope you find some inspiration here. I just try my best on a weekly basis. And yeah, let's have a listen. So this is my groove element in context. Right? Now if I take away that groove element, pretty boring, right? And this is basically just a groove, right? Just a loop. Pretty boring, but if I put in that groove element, we get a whole different vibe, I would say. Right? Just that you get the idea what we are going to create. And I want to show you the process, how I came up with it, reverse engineering it a little bit. So you can hopefully do the same for your very own tracks. So yeah, first thing I was doing, inserting MD Snake right? And I like to use the forward and back, and then I just dial up different random settings and see which one works best. Add a little bit swing, because this is based on a modular module, Eurorack module called Make Noise René, right? And yeah, here we have it for free actually, and we also have a swing setting. I'm not sure if there's a swing setting on the module. I don't think so, but maybe I'm completely wrong. But yeah, now the important thing comes here. By the way, here you can set the note range, right? So if you want higher pitch, you basically choose a range up here, right? But I want a lower range, and then that is playing quite fast. Yeah, have some movement a little bit. And yeah, now let's look into that little patch that I created from scratch. It's not a really complicated one. Wavetable patch. Actually, let's maybe save that groove element. Okay, basically I just want to explain you Wavetable quickly. So we have two oscillator sections, right? Number 1 and number 2, and basically we can mix them together. And I just explain it to you based on my own experience. I didn't dive into the manual too crazy. I just experimented with it, and that's the result out of it that you can hear, right? I'm not a crazy expert about that. Just knowing a few functions, I think, is key, and then from there you can really experiment and stuff, right? So yeah, let's dive in. Sorry for that rambling around. But yeah, we have here again two different sections, right? And we have another section where we have basically, this is the overview of different wavetables. We can even use our very own wavetable, right? Our waveforms. If we could possibly use a loop or whatever, and sometimes you get really interesting sounds out of it. So we have different sections here. I run for the second oscillator. Let's just run the first maybe. Second actually just adds a little tiny little top end, I would say, but still I think we need it. We can, yeah, I think we can go a little bit crazier here. So this is basically both oscillators. This is the gain, right? So we can mix those two together, and then it runs through the filter, and here we have a little matrix that we can modulate stuff. It's kind of an automation, right? So we say automate this one with an LFO. For example, the filter, I want to automate that with an LFO, right? That you can see here. And we also can pop it up. So we have a big screen here, which is really handy, I would say. And yeah, so now let's dive in. So we have this oscillator section 1, oscillator 2. And here we can mix them together. Oscillator 1, oscillator 2, right? Let's look into the oscillator position, because this is really interesting. This is the basic, let's turn this off, setting here. So I went to the complex setting, and then you have some sub settings, and I went to the kicked preset or wavetable, sorry, and you can see it jumps around here, right? Let's show me that on an initial patch, so you can really hear the difference what I'm talking about. Alright, so we have here the basic setting, right? That's how it sounds like. Now if I scroll through the different wavetables here, through the shapes, I get different sound out of it, right? And what I usually do is I just experiment with some parameters, and then I think, okay, I want to automate that. How do you automate that? You can see down here, oscillator 1 position. Whenever you click on a little section here, it pops up in the matrix section. So this means you can automate that. You can assign it. You can tell it, okay, this one, I want this oscillator position being modulated by the amp, right? What's the amp? It's this one here. So we can say slow attack, so poopy, I come in really slow, and so on, right? You know the envelope, attack, decay, sustain, release, right? If you know some stuff about synthesis, this is the bare basics. That's always what I'm talking about. Just learning the basics and you can really come a long way. And you don't need to know any shitty detail. I don't know any detail about this synthesizer, but I think it's enough to, as I just showed you, create those groove elements and whatnot, right? You can build a whole lot of sounds just by basic knowledge and some effects. Anyway, so yeah, now I want to control that maybe, and as we did, we went to the complex section, use kick, and now let's see how this sounds. Shorten it a little bit. That sounds very interesting in my ears. Bam, bam, bam. Wow. Right? So we just used one setting, one matrix here. Using that little fader here, by scrolling through the different wavetable positions, you get crazy sounds out of it already. You can hear it sounds kind of complex to me, right? Now what if we pair this with the second oscillator? Second oscillator, I think I've chosen basic, and then on the subsection FM harmonics. I really like those sounds, FM harmonics, and then let's see what we come out. Right, you can also tune shit down, of course. And if oscillator 1 is too loud, we can dial it back a little bit, right? We can really mix it up. Now, what should we tell? How do we want it to be controlled? What dial should it be? Should it be amp as well? I don't know. Let's try it. Let's use oscillator 2. Maybe use an LFO to control the first position. Here we have oscillator 1. Going with random here. And here you can also choose the attack, so it kind of fades in. Gets a little bit smoother sounding, right? All right, so far so good. Now, if you feel like you don't have too many low end, you have the sub oscillator. Just turn it on, and then you have a gain, a tone setting, and octave. Pretty straightforward, right? Without it. Right? Now, that's all about modulation. Pretty simple. If you want to make it a little bit wider, you can do so using the voices setting here. Let's use FM fold maybe. Just that you get the ideas. It's not the exact same patch like I did before, but that you get the perspective. Yeah, let's just run with that maybe. And then next thing is we can use the filter as serial or parallel or split. We have two filters, and maybe second one maybe we could use the morph. And you hear how the little pop, that little tick jumps around a little bit, so we can get really interesting sounding results. Now we could also use that frequency to automate it with the amp setting, to make it a little bit more dynamic maybe. Or we can assign it to an envelope if you want to. You see, it sweeps up a little bit slower, depending on the attack, of course. Maybe I want to control that as well with another LFO, with the second one, but I want to do it very slowly, like this. Right? And yeah, that's basically the whole magic. Now if you want, you can also use a corpus after that. Right? And the second thing what I would do is, or what I did in the other patch was duplicating that one. So we have a duplication of that, but then I would change up the pattern direction maybe. It's called snake shapes. I don't know, just an idea. Here's the initial patch. And on the second copy, I used the glitch delay. Maybe we can copy that over and see what it sounds like. Yeah, just that you get the idea. Honestly, I like the first one better, but it's the same concept. And I had a talk with Sila Bexi the other day in a club, and I had a little chat with him, and he said it's impossible to come up with the exact same result if you just redo something. It's impossible, you know. Even if you try to follow my exact patch here, you probably will end up with a totally different patch or sound or whatever result. But it's okay, you know. It's totally okay. That way everything stays unique, you know, in my opinion. Now let's see if maybe that patch works in the track. I'm not sure, to be honest. I don't think so. Let's stick with the other one. But you can see, really, experimentation is key in music creation. Also, that delay brings a lot to the table. And I have different settings here with frequency. So I have the more filter on the second filter, right? And okay, this brings a lot to the table here. Let me quickly show you that. Second filter, I got the frequency modulated by an LFO, right? Second LFO, pretty fast, I would say. Let's see. Maybe we can try to do the same here. What happens if I also assign this filter frequency to the second one, the slow one? Yeah, you get the idea, hopefully. Now if I take out this one that we just created, that groove element, what I call it, not much going on. Right? Yeah, that's it. Hopefully this is inspiring. Hopefully this is helpful. Yeah, if I need to break it down again, using Wavetable, experiment with different wavetables and use the matrix to modulate all kind of stuff. Maybe use a corpus to make it a little bit more, yeah, you know, spice it up a little bit, and duplicate, change stuff, make kind of a layer out of it. And then maybe you can try maybe adding effects on the layer or also on the other one, adjusting the layer, you know. Yeah, it's a lot about experimentation. Have fun experimenting. Hope you come up with some nice results. and maybe better results like mine that we just jammed out. But the first one I really like, and yeah, never forget, there's never a way to come up with the exact same result, I would say, that you did before, you know. Have you ever tried to recreate a track, or even a track that you made? Maybe you didn't save the something or a preset or whatever, and you tried so hard to replicate that result that you made previously. It's probably impossible. Let me know in the comment section if you experienced something like that. I had this a couple of times, you know, even for those tutorials like you just saw. But still, hopefully this was inspiring. I'm here to make what I call inspirational triggers to your mind, to your production, to hopefully keep you motivated on that amazing journey of creativity. Yeah, hope to see you next week. Thanks for joining. Thanks for your time. Hope this was helpful. And yeah, if you have any recommendations, questions, whatever, let me know in the comment section. I'm not always checking comments, but I try to do as much as I can and being helpful. So yeah, thanks. Hope to see you next week. Cheers. Bye bye.